Hi everyone, this is Chris Crazy House, and this is going to be my review for the Netflix original series, The Get Down. Excuse me. Now, my daughter actually had a cold about 2 weeks ago, and so I would have to stay up late with her, and that's when I actually started watching this show. I had heard about it. I didn't know much about the project, but just the reason I have Netflix is so I can just try and watch new things and just check them out and not feel any real burden of guilt or whatever. If I watch something and I don't like it, I just don't have to watch anymore. But I have to say, overall, I really love this show. Very well done. It's actually directed by Baz Luhrmann, and people know him from doing the movie Moulin Rouge and also doing the Great Gatsby remake, the latest one that was done with Leonardo DiCaprio. And he has that very over the top, very lavish, very bright, almost cartoonish type style to doing his films and his period pieces. But it works for this film, and this film, while it's based on a time period that was very real, it's also the actual show itself is actually very hyper realistic and almost cartoonish or almost comic bookish. It actually looks very similar to a comic book series called Brother Man, drawn by the good brother Dawood Anyabwile, who I'm a big fan of. And like I said, this show looks like it could have been drawn by him. It fits very well into his style. But The Get Down is about the early days of hip hop in the Bronx, New York, and it focuses very much on the late 70s. So it's that last part of the disco era, and you're moving on into something else, which is hip hop. And hip hop is just real gritty, real. It's not even really called hip hop yet. And even when all those great DJs like Kool Herc and Grandmaster Flash are spinning records, they don't even have a real name for it. They just say they're playing the get down part. That's where the name of the show comes from, because these guys would take just a little section or a sample from a record, a popular disco record or a popular soul record, and they would play that part, that drum beat or that drum solo, and they would loop it over and over again. That's what they would have these parties, and they called it the get down because they would just play that one drum loop or that one drum beat over and over again, so people could just keep on dancing and keep on partying. And later on, it gave a bed of music for an MC or a rapper to come over and he can do his lyrics over this drum beat. So, first and foremost, like I said, it's a very fun series. I really enjoyed it. I loved all the characters in the show, especially the main character played by Justice Smith, the character Ezekiel. I saw a lot of myself in this character growing up, because he is a kid that, even though he's growing up in the hood in maybe some semi-impoverished, lower working class situation, he's also a very brilliant kid, and he gets opportunities to maybe even get out by getting scholarships or getting internships at certain places and being able to view the quote unquote upper crust society. But he also has that street in him, and that what leads him to hooking up with the brothers Shaolin Fantastic in the show, who's a DJ. And he, Justice, I'm sorry, I'm calling him by his real name. The real guy's name, the character's name is Ezekiel. They call him Zeke on the show. But he's already a poet and a great writer, and that leads him to become the MC and the rapper for the DJ Shaolin Fantastic. And it's just amazing the way the show shows early hip hop. It shows it almost in a, like it was like it's partially a kung fu movie, but also has crime drama in it. It has great musical numbers. The singing in it is great, and the hip hop scenes where it actually shows those early get down parties and those early hip hop parties held in abandoned buildings or just in a basement somewhere. It just gives that very raw feeling of the early days of hip hop, and it just gives put a big smile on my face, even though I never lived during that time. I was still a baby at that time, but I would always hear these stories, and I do think that this show captured that feeling that people were doing it back then strictly for the love, because obviously you weren't getting paid for it to do that. This was something that people just felt compelled to do, and as an artist, I can fully understand that energy and that compunction and just feeling this undying need to do something, and you find this art form that you like, and you just have to do it, because once Zeke starts doing it, he becomes very committed to it. It starts out very interesting because he's obsessing over this girl named Mylene. He wants her to be his girlfriend. They've been friends since ever they were little kids, and he plays the piano at church and she does the singing, and he wants her to be his girl, but of course she puts him in that friend zone, and so of course he's not feeling that, and he finds something else that he loves just as much as this girl, and he finds that in doing hip-hop music. So I would very much recommend you watching this show. I don't want to spoil too much about it. It has more than just the elements of rapping and doing and DJing. It kind of explains the behind the scenes of what's going on with doing those art forms, but also explains the art of doing graffiti art, and that's played through the character Jaden Smith's character in the show, who I thought actually did a very good job. Despite what I might think about Jaden Smith personally, I do think he's a good actor when he's in film. So, and I think he does a very good job in just playing the young graffiti artist. And he's kind of like spacey and loopy, which I think does actually fit his real character, because he is kind of like that in real life. So, like I said, go check out The Get Down. If you're an actual hip-hop fan, someone who loves and really loves the art form of hip-hop and just music in general, I do believe you'll love this, and if you love a real fun story, you'll like this as well. Now, what's funny is I saw a lot of reviews for this show given by a lot of white people, and a lot of them said that they would have to sit through 3 and 4 episodes before they started kind of liking the show, or they didn't get it, or they had to struggle through the first episode. And what's funny to me is it's very ironic that their opinion of the show very much fits the opinion that a lot of whites had to early hip-hop. So it's almost very appropriate that they didn't get it at first, just the way the white establishment did not get hip-hop back then. Even in the show, it showcases the Mayor Ed Koch as he's running for the mayor of New York City, saying that he's going to get rid of all these graffiti people because they're just creating a mess and destroying things, and what's that boom bap music over there, so they see hip-hop culture as just some sort of disgusting, wasteful culture that needs to be gotten rid of, and they want to build over it. But now excuse me, and it's ironic that it's become such a big business and become so popular, and that whole graffiti art style is become pop culture. And it's just amazing to see the beginnings of it, because these kids, when they created it, didn't have a damn thing. And I'm glad they put that in the show, showcasing how the Bronx looked like a war zone. They had just burnt out, destroyed buildings. They had gangs burning buildings, and it showed that a lot of these government officials were paying these gangs to burn down these buildings so they can get insurance money, or the landlords would pay people to burn down the building so they can get their insurance money and just leave out of there and leave these people destitute with their neighborhood looking like someone just dropped an atomic bomb on it. So, as the director said, and as the consultant on the show, who was the real Grandmaster Flash, was actually consulted for the show, they said they literally had nothing, but they made something. And that just, to me, is a testament to the greatness of black people. Because even when we're in the worst, poorest, down and out situation, we always strive through and wind up creating something beautiful. So I think that very much is a testament to our ingenuity and where our true intelligence lies. I know a lot of people will put up these stats or put up these quote unquote IQ tests and say black people are lower or we're dumb and we don't get it. But when you have a group of people who have been completely oppressed and completely put down and destroyed, and they still, not only are they still around and still alive, but they're creating art forms that the whole world is able to glam onto and enjoy, that is a very big testament to our people. So go and check out the Get Down. I very much recommend it. If you're an artist who likes music or creates music, or if you're just an artist who likes to draw or just loves film, you will enjoy this because it looks very good. It's very well done. A great period piece, and they spent a lot of money. I think this is the most expensive Netflix series ever so far, and it's only 6 episodes, I believe, and they broke it into two. From what I understand, there's going to be 6 more episodes in a couple of more months. So please check it out. I know you guys will enjoy it if you are a hip hop fan or just an art fan in general. Anyway, Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.